This just sent straight from Philly. Philly MC said they want that smoke, so we're gonna see what y'all got. Meek Mill, you know, you ain't got nothing but air and opportunity. Show them how it's done.
I'm at a point in my life like we all grew up in the streets and we try to be better, but they labeled us felons, sent us back to jail. I had to fight against that the whole time.
Where would you be right now if you were just Meek Mill, who nobody knew, if you didn't have all these powerful people who raised your case up and made people?
I would be in prison.
Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you.
Meek Mill's got to deal with what he got to deal with based on the relationship him and Puff had.
What if everything you thought you knew about hip-hop's biggest success stories was actually a carefully orchestrated lie? What if the parties, the mentorship, the big breaks were all part of something much darker? Tonight, you'll witness Meek Mill's transformation from Philadelphia's toughest streets to Diddy's most vulnerable victim. Through his tears, his terror, and his testimony, a horrifying truth emerges. The parties weren't networking, they were hunting grounds. The mentorship wasn't guidance, it was conditioning. And the success stories you celebrated were actually systematic destruction of young black men's souls. You're about to discover what really happens when talent meets pred. But first, you need to understand how the trap was set. Because what looked like industry networking was actually systematic documentation for permanent control.
When you that powerful, you didn't get that powerful without having one or two or maybe three ups on somebody. Diddy always been the type of individual that want to have ups on the next person no matter what they was doing. Like, he always played artists against each other. He did it to Big, he did it to Craig Mack. You understand? I said before, he did the stuff to Ja Rule, you understand? So had the ups on Ja Rule so he could go after Jay-Z. You understand what I'm saying? So he always played those kind of up games on people. So to have those cameras and know what he was doing, it's gonna give him the ups on everybody who came to that party. Even your favorite basketball player. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. We know who said that. He may be one of the persons got caught up in the Diddy party.
Listen carefully to what's being revealed here. Diddy didn't just throw parties for fun, he recorded everything. Every celebrity, every encounter, every compromising moment captured for future leverage. LeBron James might be one of them. This isn't gossip or speculation. This is a documented control operation designed to maintain power over the most influential people in entertainment. Every guest became a potential asset. Every interaction became potential blackmail material. The most powerful figures in sports and entertainment reduced to puppets controlled by recorded secrets.
I will tell you, if you just pay attention to the testimony, there were videos on an iPad that the employees had access to, right? And you can't tell me, anyone who's watching this, they've been anywhere and something was going down and somebody said, hey man, give me a copy of that. Right? Yep. I mean, we can go back to the R. Kelly tape. That was VHS. You know how hard it is to make a copy of a VHS? and it was probably 30 or 40 of them tapes in every neighborhood. Right? Now we talking about digital. Now we talking about, hey man, airdrop me that video. Right? Hey.
Spread like wildfire.
Exactly, because I am pretty sure either through the dark web or through one-sided consent of some sort, it's going to be released.
Now here's the legal confirmation you need to hear. Attorneys are going on record stating these tapes exist and will be released one way or another. This isn't rumor or conspiracy theory anymore. This is legal testimony confirming that recorded evidence of these encounters is real and will eventually become public. Think about what that means. Years of parties, years of recordings, years of compromising material involving the biggest names in entertainment, all sitting in storage somewhere, waiting to be released. Every celebrity who attended these events now faces the terrifying possibility that their most private moments will become public evidence. This is how modern servitude works in Hollywood. You don't chain people physically, you chain them psychologically through recorded shame. You create a system where successful, powerful people become completely controllable because they know you have footage that could destroy everything they've built. And Meek Mill wasn't just attending these parties. He was being systematically conditioned to become the next generation of victims in this recording machine. But to understand what happened to Meek, you need to understand the psychological methodology behind it. This wasn't random mistreatment. This was a systematic strategy designed to destroy the core identity of young black men.
What is it with all the man-on-man action that I'm learning about? I mean, like with the puffy parties. Like the last thing I ever thought that went on there was gay stuff. Not that gay stuff was wrong, it's wonderful. I just did not think that's what Puffy was doing.
Yeah, well, I didn't think it either. And even when my assistant said that stuff, I still was like joking it off. And it wasn't until later on that I heard other things from people that worked from him. You know, you remember that back in the times of slavery, they had a thing called breaking the buck. That people in the industry are still making young rappers who have fought the worst of circumstances, being disenfranchised, being discounted, and then they finally like, I'm gonna put it into music. I'm gonna do it in the music. I'm gonna, and get myself together. And they go and see someone, and they tell them, okay, yeah, you can have a deal.
Breaking the buck. Let that phrase penetrate your consciousness for a moment. Terrence Howard isn't using plantation terminology by accident. He's describing a process that echoes the most brutal aspects of America's history, but updated for Hollywood's control system. Young, talented individuals like Lil Baby, Meek Mill, and Usher are deliberately stripped of their masculine identity through forced participation in recorded, intimate acts. This isn't hazing. This isn't initiation. This is weaponized trauma, specifically engineered to create permanent psychological dependency. They document the breaking process, so the victim never forgets what was done to them and never feels strong enough to resist future demands.
Rappers, they're all so tough until you hear their real name.
Yeah, or until you see them at a puffy party.
Oh.
Then they're not tough no more. I'm surprised that the rap game is still alive because the masculinity that the rappers are supposed to portray. Oh.
Here's Terrence Howard making the connection explicit. The rappers who project the most aggressive masculinity in their music are often the most psychologically broken behind the scenes. The louder they perform strength, the more completely they've been compromised. Their public persona becomes armor against the shame of what they were forced to do in private.
When you saw this lawsuit that made it seem as if perhaps Diddy and Meek Mill had...
I mean, to each their own, and why would they not have when they're gay rappers?
They.
Do you think Meek Mill's gay?
We all know he's gay.
Who's we?
Rick Ross knows he's gay.
I didn't know. It's news to me.
Everybody, Rick Ross knows.
You think Rick Ross would sign a gay rapper?
Rick Ross knows he's gay.
Now Orlando Brown starts naming names. Meek Mill and Rick Ross, two of hip-hop's most aggressive personas, both allegedly victims of this same system. Notice how Orlando doesn't present this as an intimate preference issue. He's describing a systematic attack designed to create psychological control.
You call him Gusher?
I said Usher is a gusher. That's what I said. I said Usher is a gusher. It was nice.
I don't even want to know why you say
his whole thing is accusing everybody of being on some mystery Illuminati gay right?
So what? They shouldn't have showed me their coochie.
Gusher isn't just wordplay. It's documentation of bodily destruction. Orlando is revealing that every celebrity he's naming has been forced to show their cooches to Diddy. This is a systematic emasculation of men who built their careers on projecting invulnerability.
When Diddy got locked up, Meek Mill came out saying that he'll pay somebody $100 grand to investigate that he has nothing to do with anything with Diddy.
Man, look, you can't take back what your received. That's just like the video that's coming out with him and Will. With Will Smith getting the Will Smith. You ain't heard the Will Smith footage?
Yeah.
I
heard about
Will
it.
Smith. Then they got the Carl Winslow. Yeah, they got a lot, bro. It's a lot coming out, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just keep it to you 1,000.
The evidence isn't just testimony anymore. It's recorded video that Orlando claims will be released soon. Carl Winslow, Will Smith, Meek Mill, all allegedly documented in compromising positions performing sloppy toppy with Diddy.
If a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this is, because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Can't smile in your face the whole time.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, people look at Usher, they don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute, and his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about. And you still took Bieber there, but you got custody of him first. Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like, what kind of asshole do you gotta be to take another boy, another talented boy, and put him in your place so it ain't gotta be you no more? Because that's what do. They get victims, and then once they get to a certain age and they get too old for them to enjoy them, they send them out to go get other young kids.
But here's where the system becomes generational. Jaguar Wright reveals how victims become recruiters. Usher, after being victimized, then delivered Justin Bieber to take his place. This isn't just individual trauma. This is a systematic pipeline where broken victims are forced to find replacements to escape their own psychological prison. The brilliance of this system is horrifying. You break someone completely, document the breaking, then force them to perpetuate the cycle by recruiting others. Each victim becomes an accomplice. Each accomplice becomes more deeply trapped, and the system becomes self-perpetuating. Meek Mill wasn't just a target. He was being prepared to become a recruiter in this systematic destruction of young, black talent. Now we move from the theoretical to the documented, from understanding the system to witnessing its execution. Because in Meek Mill's case, we have the receipts, the witnesses, and the smoking evidence of exactly how this psychological manipulation operates in real time.
Meek Mill's got to deal with what he got to deal with based on the relationship him and Puff had. Dressing alike, being cozy, Puff calling him daddy, saying little innuendos to him. People are looking at that and saying Meek Mill is wrong for saying no Diddy. But you can't tell a man how to spend his money and how to make love to his wife or his Diddy. Diddy had rented a mansion out for Meek Mill's birthday party, and he had rented it for like $25,000. I remember we rented one of Cher's mansion out, you know what I'm saying? And that's the day he had fired his cook, but that's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? It was me, Wolf, Mace, Was Ock staying there? No, it's just me, Wolf, Mace, Puff, and there was one other person staying in the mansion. But anyway, long story short is that they came recently. This happened a long time ago, but they recently just made a statement that they found loads of cocaine. I wonder what they did with the cocaine, because they didn't turn it over to the police. They said they found loads of cocaine, razor blades. They said that the sheets were bloody, nasty. They found a whole lot of used condoms. And it was a Diddy party, giving in Meek Mill's honor for his birthday. I was like, yo, wow.
Gene Deal is speaking from direct experience here. As Diddy's former security chief, he was physically present when these events occurred. Listen to what he's revealing. Diddy had a freaky relationship with Meek Mill that everyone in the industry knew about because they all attended the birthday party Diddy threw for Meek. The gory details that came out afterward left nothing to imagination. This isn't speculation or rumors. This is eyewitness testimony from someone whose job was to be present and observe. Gene is documenting that the entire industry was complicit through their attendance and subsequent silence. They all saw what happened. They all understood what it meant, and they all chose to stay quiet. But notice the timing Gene mentions. Meek has been suspiciously quiet since Diddy's verdict was released. Why? Because according to industry whispers, Meek is dealing with his alleged infected status. The implication is devastating. Meek contracted something during these encounters that now makes him too compromised to speak publicly.
A lot of the people that been in those parties and seen probably some unscrupulous that went down and was like, ooh, I was there. I hope they don't got me on tape. They feeling a certain way, so they're not gonna speak on nothing until they've been approached with something. You gotta realize, when Homeland Security get their evidence together, they're gonna send agents out. You understand? They might send an agent out to me. Yo, what do you know? What have you heard? What have you seen? What's been going on? You know what I'm saying? You know, did this happen when you was around him? Did this happen back in the day? That's what they're gonna wanna know. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna send investigators out. They're gonna send people out for anybody that they can get some information from to help their case. So those celebrities ain't gonna say nothing. You know, you got your man Stevie J speaking on it right now. He'll be one of the first dudes that they'll probably pull to the side and say, yo, well, you say that your man, I heard you on TMZ said that he never did this and he never did that, but ain't this you? If those pictures or those films or anything like that exists. You know what I'm saying? That's what they pay those agents to do. So, of course, I don't believe that none of the people who are his celebrity friends is gonna speak or say nothing until they're either contacted or they know what they really got.
So you feel like they might be worried that they might be on tape at one of Diddy parties doing something they wasn't supposed to be doing?
I think that the celebrities that may be worried is because what Lil Rob said. Lil Rob said in his affidavit that Diddy had every room taped and bugged. Diddy had, yo, bruh, can you imagine? He had every room taped and bugged, and they found little bugs or little tape recorders. I mean, little those micro projectors or whatever like that, or video cameras. They found them in the house, bro. So by them having those things in the house, and people know there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's loose women, there's loose men, woman on woman, man on man.
Here, Gene goes deeper into the systematic cover-up. He reveals that other people in the industry knew Meek was being mistreated and used, but figures like Stevie J are actively covering it up. This exposes the collaborative nature of the mistreatment. It's not just one pred, it's an entire network protecting the system. But here's the most chilling part. Gene confirms the videos exist and are enough to bring the whole industry down. Now that the trial is done, the tapes are slowly getting released, and one of those tapes might be Meek's as well. This isn't threats or blackmail anymore. This is confirmation that recorded evidence of Meek's victimization is about to become public.
I'm at a point in my life like we all grew up in the streets and we try to be better, but they labeled us felons, sent us back to jail. I had to fight against that the whole time to gain my respect and be who I am today, and I'm proud of that.
Now watch Meek's own words take on new meaning. He's crying about how they tried to throw him back to jail for some minor offense, but he fought them tooth and nail. In context, this isn't about legal system discrimination. This is about the systematic intimidation that keeps victims silent. Every time Meek showed signs of potential resistance, mysterious legal pressures appeared to remind him who was really in control. The torture is obvious once you understand the system. Keep the victim legally vulnerable through bogus charges, then use those charges as leverage whenever they show signs of independence. Meek's emotional breakdown here isn't just about legal stress. It's about the psychological trauma of being trapped in a system where speaking out means losing everything. And the evidence that could prove all of this is about to become public record. But before we see those tapes, you need to understand the human cost of this system. Because the most devastating part isn't just the psychological breaking, it's what victims are left with afterward. The diseases, the breakdowns, the complete psychological collapse that happens when people realize they sacrificed everything for lies.
He actually caught HIV, like having like a lot of women.
Oh yeah, let's just go down the rabbit hole of all of his sins.
I'm just saying.
You want to know what's wild about that though? He faced that head up.
He did.
And he didn't stop. And he didn't stop doing what he's done.
He an advocate. Now he did do that. And
period. Listen to me. He faced that head up. How many dudes is running around undetectable? G.
Come on.
In the game.
Man.
Because I could tell you 20 right now that I could rattle off names, and wouldn't nobody be able to sue me.
Jaguar Wright is making a specific and chilling claim here. She knows celebrities who contracted HIV from Diddy, but refused to disclose their status publicly. Think about the implications of that. You have famous, wealthy people living with a life-threatening disease who are too terrified to seek proper medical support because revealing their status would expose how they contracted it. This isn't about intimate preference or lifestyle choices. This is about a systematic biological crisis. When you force someone into unprotected encounters and they contract a life-threatening disease, that's not consensual activity. That's attack with a deadly weapon.
All the champagne was spiked, son. Like, all the champagne was spiked. Everybody was passed the out. I don't drink, so I was playing that off like I don't drink. I smoke. Like, I smoke and I had my own weed, but like everybody was passed out. Yo, Diddy had that man in the room. Look, yes, I put my ear to the door and I brought the phone because Diddy started going in overdrive. I ain't know what the was going on, but I just heard balls slapping against cheeks. I heard struggling to take. I heard being like, yeah, daddy. When he started all that daddy this and daddy that, and then I heard some hollering and struggling like, yeah, I kept the phone there and I recorded all this because I was like, this Diddy rich. So I'm finna put the squeeze on and get me.
Now we get witness testimony from the bodyguard who allegedly recorded the infamous audio between Diddy and Meek. His account reveals the methodical nature of these attacks. Drinks were systematically spiked, Meek was allegedly forced into encounters with adult workers, and Diddy took the final piece, meaning he documented the entire process for future leverage. This testimony exposes the premeditation behind every encounter. Nothing was spontaneous or consensual. The alcohol was spiked to remove resistance. S workers were brought in to normalize the activity, and everything was recorded to ensure permanent control over the victim. This is systematic predatory behavior disguised as party entertainment.
Nigga, this shit is not right, man. So what the I'm living for? Like, why the I'm on this earth for? Like, why? Like, Osiris, why you haven't even? Like, why you haven't even? Like, this crash. Like, just do something that like, at this point, it's like, why the you on this earth still? Like, why you still? Why the you? Like, why the hell you on this earth? Why? When nobody with you, it's like, you don't have nobody. Like, what the are you on this earth for? I can't even see my kids. Like, what the I haven't made no music. I haven't made no money from music in like two and a half years.
Watch YK Osiris break down completely and ask yourself what could cause this level of mental collapse in a young man who should be celebrating his success. According to industry insiders, YK allegedly gave his man card to Diddy, but still got snubbed and abandoned. The devastation here is profound. Imagine sacrificing your identity, your health, your dignity for promised career advancement, only to discover that even complete submission wasn't enough. Even becoming infected wasn't sufficient payment for the success you were promised. The realization that you gave everything and received nothing creates a psychological break that some people never recover from.
This industry is not what you think it is. Don't let these people fool you, man. Before in the social media, I'm gonna give y'all a little background of me, man. Like, my life is not perfect, man. Don't think because I'm on Instagram showing this, showing that, I don't got a perfect life either. And I want you to understand that just because all these rappers show all this money and show all this fame, don't think their life is good. It's not. These people are always faking and let you know that this is not what y'all want. Do something that's low-key. Do something that can help you out other than being a target or a flashy. Because God can take this away from you real quick, and it's not a blessing from God. And I tell people that 24/7, this is the devil's game. It is not. This is not no God's game. This right here is for you to look up to me. This right here for you to look up to me. This right here is for you to look up to me. If I don't wear this, you don't look up to me. If rappers don't do what they do, you won't look up to them.
Here's YK himself trying to warn people about what he discovered, but everyone dismissed it as him crashing out. Listen to what he's actually saying. This industry is the devil's game, and people shouldn't look up to them. He's trying to expose the system that victimized him. But because he can't speak directly due to legal constraints, his warnings sound like random outbursts. This is how the system maintains itself. Victims who try to speak out are dismissed as unstable or ungrateful. Their attempts to warn others are reframed as mental health episodes. The very trauma inflicted on them is used to discredit their testimony, creating a perfect cycle of silence. The most tragic aspect is that these young men often become accomplices in their own destruction. They're broken so completely that they start recruiting others, perpetuating the cycle that destroyed them, because they can't accept that their suffering was meaningless unless they can convince themselves they're part of something larger. This is what happened to an entire generation of young black talent, and the evidence of their systematic destruction is about to be released to the world. Meek Mill's desperate attempts to warn us were dismissed as mental instability. His $100,000 reward for anyone who could prove his innocence was mocked as damage control. But tonight you've seen the evidence that transforms his denials from desperation into documentation of the exact psychological programming that kept victims silent while they recruited others. When young black artists achieve unprecedented success, but can never speak freely about how they obtained it, are you witnessing the American dream, or are you watching the sophisticated evolution of systems designed to control and exploit black talent while maintaining the illusion of opportunity? And when the entertainment industry finally confronts this systematic mistreatment, will justice mean prosecuting individual preds? Or will it require dismantling the entire infrastructure that made their crimes profitable, sustainable, and virtually undetectable for decades? If you like this video, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on any new videos. And until then, fam, keep it real.